WarRoomSports.com. Get that mobile app.
Sports fans, welcome to this episode of Field Vision, brought to you by War Room Sports. I'm Jimmy, your host this evening, and yes, my Broncos did beat the shit out of the Patriots, but Fred Purdue did show up. With that being said, it's time to announce who is at the round table. I got my brother B. Austin. What's good? Eagles fan. I think Eagles fan. What's up, B. Austin?
Yeah, we beat the ish out of the Patriots this season.
Where y'all at?
All right.
He playing Charlotte right next to you on the couch, my good brother.
We got Fred from About.com Sports in the building. He's the Patriots fan.
Home.
Fred, don't.
If you don't win anything, it means nothing.
Hey, Fred, introduce yourself before you get sacked.
Oh.
And I got my brother Dev in the building. Dev, what's good?
I'm chilling, y'all. Let's talk Super Bowl.
You already know Super Bowl 50 is upon us. We have the Carolina Panthers versus
50.
my beloved Denver Broncos. The bottom line, gentlemen, is this is 50. It's going to be historic one way or another. I'm just going to open the floor up and ask everybody, what do you think will happen in this game and why?
Go ahead, Fred. Tell them how you Peyton gonna get broken in two. You got it.
Fred is a Patriots fan, so anybody listening via the pod or watching the video, understand that before he speaks. But go ahead, Fred.
In my unbiased opinion, and I almost, because I like your defense, and I have a nice little stat, because I have to have a stat. Of the top 10, of the last 10 years or so, teams that have the number one defense are 8-2 in Super Bowls. With that being said, I still like the Carolina Panthers. I'm going Cam Newton all the way. I said it all season long until they lose. I can't really go against them. They lost one game, and it really wasn't convincing enough to make me go away from it. I like the Broncos defense, especially with Von Miller and DeMarcus Ware on the outside. But I think with the way the Carolina Panthers are playing up front on both sides of the lines of scrimmage, as well as in the secondary, Luke Kuechly in the middle, I think Peyton Manning is going to have to beat them with his arm. They're not going to let him run the football. And I think with Demaryius Thomas and his absence of hands, Vernon Davis not being who he said he was when he came in, thinking he was going to win, I guess, being a big-time contributor. I'm just not really liking this team offensively. I know they can stop everybody, but I don't think they're going to be able to score a lot of points. And the last time that the Denver Broncos played a team very much like this Carolina Panthers team, it was over at halftime, and I quit watching. I think it's going to be very much the same way. I think it'll be a close game. It won't be – score-wise, it'll be a close game. But I think Peyton Manning is going to be broken in two. And I can't go for Peyton Manning. I'm sorry. Stop it. Go right. Super Cam. Super Cam, 31-28, by the way. 31-28.
Close game. Okay. I just would like to send a salute out to the ancestors, and it is Black History Month, and some interesting factoids here. Huey P. Newton, Cam Newton, Black Panthers, Carolina Panthers, Panther Party's 50th anniversary, Super Bowl 50. You still think it's in, not all that being said, I'm actually going to say that the Denver Broncos are going to have 2 weeks to put together a plan, and I'm going to pick. I'm thinking that we're going to see Denver show up. I think we're going to see Denver show up. Not convinced that Cam is going to perform as he did during the regular season under the brightest of bright lights.
Okay, now I'll give my pick before Dev goes. Obviously, everyone sees the hat, and if you're listening, everyone probably knows because you read Sports the Book, which is available at sportsthebook.com. But I think that what B. Austin said is going to be the difference. The fact that it was 2 weeks. I think that Wade Phillips was actually the MVP of that Patriots game because he put together that game plan, which just worked amazingly. I think that he has 2 weeks to put together a game plan for this Carolina offense. And I think that the 2 weeks gives Peyton Manning enough rest. Well, listen, he only has to perform 45 30 to 45 minutes. Like, we don't need him to make it through a stretch at this point. We don't need him to be the old Peyton for a season. This is one game, and it's any given Sunday. So if Peyton's able to play,
did you really use that sorry cliche?
No, but the cliche.
Really?
Can I finish though?
Really?
I didn't disrespect you though. See you ignorant Patriots fans though. Ignorant ass Patriots fans. These entitled dudes. No, because that cliche is so true. Because I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't even think we're the second or first best team in the league. But the fact of the matter is, we're in this game because of the old adage of any given Sunday. And in most Super Bowls, you don't have the two best teams because of the adage of any given Sunday. So my point is, with it being 2 weeks and having time to game plan, only needing Peyton to play one game at a certain level, I think that the Broncos do have a chance to make history and win this game. And I'm going to pick my Broncos in the close game. I'm picking the Broncos 31-28. And I think that, it's all because we need this one game. Now, with that being said, it is predicated on us getting a running game established to kind of slow the pace down. But at the end of the day, if those Carolina receivers, they're sorry receivers like Crabtree, we can stop those guys. So I'm taking the Broncos. Dad, what you got?
Don't you ever talk about
it. This is a very, very, very difficult game for me to pick because I think it could go a lot. I think there's a lot of scenarios that can play, like we talked about in the podcast. I think if Carolina gets out to a quick start like they have a lot of times this season, I don't think Denver's offense really has the capacity at this point to come back. But you have two defenses that are two of the best defenses in the league. I think Carolina's defense might be playing a little bit more consistent right now than Denver's defense. But with that 2 weeks off, after watching Wade Phillips really impress me with what he came up with against the Patriots, I'm thinking that maybe he can do something to neutralize what the Panthers are doing on that other side of the ball. So I think it'll be a close game. I do fear that Jimmy's Broncos, I don't know, unless Peyton can find that magic for one game, like, it's hard for me to fathom that they could score with this team. So the defense on the Denver side really has to step up. So with all that being said, I'm going to go with the Broncos in a close game.
You said
I'd like to see I'm conflicted on how I want to even root for this game. Usually I don't even root. I don't care. But I've always been a big Peyton Manning fan, so it would be nice to see him go out on top. Sheriff right off into the sunset. But on the other hand, the black protectionist in me kind of wants me to see Cam win and shut up all the haters who've been talking about everything but football. This is a difficult one. I'm really just hoping for a great game, but I got the Broncos in a close, tight one.
Yeah, it's two things that play for me. Everyone knows that I'm definitely have what's considered black pride, and I would love to see Cam win. But the fact of the matter is, you're playing my squad, so that has to go out. That has to go out the window. And everyone also knows, who follows me anywhere, that I'm a conspiracy theorist, and I think this is good for the NFL to see Peyton right off on the sunset. So that did factor into my pick, just like it factored into my pick of seeing the whole Brady Manning thing, because I thought the NFL wanted that. I think the NFL also wants Peyton to ride off into the sunset. So I think that we'll get some home cooking and some great calls.
Can we call it Callgate? Can we call it Callgate? Or?
But guess what though, Fred? Unlike you, I'm not gonna bitch about it. I'm gonna accept it. Cheat all you want to. Give us a chip. I'm not like you. I'm not gonna cry about it.
What are your key matchups and what are your key matchups and key things to watch in this game for both teams, offense and defense?
Score. It's like no, but seriously though, I think for the Broncos they have to establish a running game. B. Austin mentioned that Ronnie Hillman loves running up the back of his offensive lineman instead of hitting the hole. So I'm looking for C.J. Anderson to have a good game. If the Denver's to have any success, they need that. And for Carolina, it's about the receivers. Can they get any sort of separation? They've been playing better lately, but we'll see what happens because this is going to be the best secondary they've went up against. So those are some of the things I'm looking for in this game. But it's, like Dev said, this is one of those games where I can see it going a lot of different ways. The one thing the Broncos can't afford is to have Carolina jump up on them early because, sort of like what happened in Seattle. You can't have that. Man, listen, like I said, riding with the Broncos, I gave you my reasons why, but those are some of the matchups I'm looking to see if the Broncos can establish a running game, if Demaryius Thomas can make his mother proud and play football like he's been able to do the past several seasons.
Demaryius Thomas is like a T.O. clone, but he don't
it's only recently, though. It's like, since his mom came home, he can't play ball no more.
Nah, he's been dropping some passes earlier than that.
The funny thing about what you just mentioned, Jimmy, with the secondary of your beloved Broncos, they're going to be able to match up one-on-one to me. And what that does is it leaves T.J. Ward and it leaves Darian Stewart the option of covering Olsen, and then it leaves that free man to kind of look at what the linebackers have to deal with, and now I want to say spy cam, but get it, spy cam. But I mean, you'll have that extra player because as fast as Ted Ginn is, Aqib Talib is going to take everything in his pockets and tell him no, you can't go anywhere, and he's not gonna go anywhere. Chris Harris is going to lock up on Philly Brown, Jericho Cotchery, or whatever other bum is available on the other side. So I think that the Broncos are going to be able to run with cover 0 or cover 1, and that's going to be key. That's going to be key because Carolina does have the better running game. We haven't talked about shout out to the fat guy who plays fullback but gets the rock and makes things happen with it.
Like
Tolbert. Tolbert is reasonably explosive for a human being that's that obese. Jonathan Stewart can ball. He's an underrated factor in this. And then, of course, we have the fullback, which is Cam. So here's the thing that really gets interesting. When Denver's defense locks up and the secondary has all those receivers covered, they have Olsen covered, and then Cam becomes that X factor. Can Von Miller, DeMarcus Ware, Trevathan, and
Brandon Marshall
close down those running lanes because Cam has the ability to get out of the pocket, scramble, and make it happen. So I think that that's going to be key to this game. The other side of the ball is interesting.
It's not like the Patriots, right, where you only rush 3, and because you got sorry-ass, slow-ass Brady, you still get pressure and beat him up with only rushing 3. You can't really do that with the Panthers.
For me, I look at it, and I kind of go with, I think Aqib Talib is going to be the guy that you want to put on Greg Olsen because you're going to want to split Greg Olsen out wide. Who's going to be able to guard? You can't check him with a safety. You can't put him on a linebacker simply because he's too quick and athletic and he's too big. You can't. You're going to have Bradley Roby's too small. Bradley Roby will get beat up by a Greg Olsen. For me, Aqib Talib has been great against pretty much every bigger tight end, faster tight end that you've seen him go up against. Gronk, Greg Olsen will be a guy that he's going to be able to handle. For me, I like Aqib Talib on him. Chris Harris, you put him on a guy like a Ted Ginn, have safety help over the top. For me, with Cam running out the pocket, you have to change your rush lanes. You can't simply just pin your ears back. You have to somewhat contain. You have to instead of making them bend that loop. That's more of one of those coaching terms, bend the loop. But instead of that, you're going to have to just rush straight upfield and force Cam to step up in the pocket. The problem with that is you have Derek Wolfe in the middle and you have Malik Jackson in the middle. Both are great pass rushers up the middle. And DeMarcus Ware on the other side, I think he can come around and find a way.
Fred, you just said bend the Quaalude. Yo, we not with that.
you know you're from Miami, man. But listen, be awesome. Wade Phillips is going to shock the world with this strategy he tries. He's going to line up and he's going to put nobody across from Ted Ginn and just let him run free.
Wow.
There's a 50-50 chance that works.
I remember that Colts game. He had a man beat by about 10 to 15 yards, and he dropped a wide open pass.
Yeah.
So that's a possibility.
It's going to be the greatest strategy you've ever seen. It's going to be, like you said, a 50-50 shot that he'll drop it anyway. You're going to let him just run free.
Let me ask you this, Fred, because you are definitely in tune with the underwear Olympics. So when you say put Aqib Talib on to Greg Olsen, it does make sense. It does make sense, but I am giving Ted Ginn the respect of being somewhat of a track athlete speed-wise. Of all the guys in the secondary, I know it's been a long time since Aqib Talib was in college, but from a numbers standpoint, it would seem that he's the better suited matchup for long speed and running deep with Ted Ginn. Who else? I mean, Chris Harris, I don't know that he can run with a Ted Ginn.
I think
Bradley Roby, I don't know that.
Bradley Roby may be able to, but you have to remember, too, the Broncos are also adding an extra safety in that box as well. So you're going to have 3 safeties on the field at some point. And if you see Ted Ginn on the outside, that safety may cheat over a little bit, back up a little bit, play maybe 15, 20 yards off the ball, especially knowing that based on alignments, coverages that you want to do towards him, they're going to shift the coverage that way.
That makes a lot of sense. It makes sense, but I'm a firm believer in the NFL. When you have an opportunity to dominate athletically and say, all right, listen, guys, we can play single coverage, you take that. You take that opportunity to play single coverage and allow that extra safety to roam and allow that extra mismatch, as opposed to like your scenario in putting a slower defender on Ginn and causing him to be double covered. I'm like, to me, as a Denver defender, I'm like, yo, that's disrespectful because Ted Ginn isn't good, and I'm not going to treat him. I'm not going to treat him like
I agree with you, because at the end of the day, they're not X's and O's on a piece of paper or on a whiteboard. They still are human, and they do have that ego and all of that. They do have that, so I can agree with you. I just think, and let me clarify that, because you're not going to put, if Greg Olsen is attached to the line of scrimmage, that's not where you're wanting Aqib Talib. You're wanting Aqib Talib there on him when he splits out wide, like you see a Gronk split out wide in the red zone,
Fred,
going up like that. That's what you want to see him.
Carolina doesn't split him out wide as much as, say, the Patriots split out Gronk. They don't. Most of their success with Olsen is when he's lined up,
But they do put him in. You will see him in the slot a little bit.
He'll be in the slot.
You'll see him in the slot running the seams and things like that.
Yeah.
And for me, on top with that too, you're gonna have the Carolina Panthers running a lot of option too. So you may have to see Aqib Talib tackle. That's something I'm not necessarily sure he can do yet. I'd be the one to test that to see if he can.
Yeah.
If you stand him up
happening now, it ain't gonna happen.
If you stand Olsen up, I wouldn't be mad at putting Aqib Talib on him in a vacuum, but Aqib is their best cover guy. I don't care what people say about Chris Harris. Chris Harris
the
is
majority of the game, you're going to see Aqib on the outside, but when Olsen is in the slot or out on the outside, that's going to be the matchup I want to see. I think too, the same thing for the Carolina Panthers. Their defensive line going up against that Broncos O-line, because that O-line on the left side is great, but that right side is very suspect. And when you have the depth that they have at the defensive line position, Kawan Short, Starla Tulele, Thomas Davis, Jared Allen, you have so many guys that it's very hard.
Vasquez is injured. Now he's going to play, but he's still injured. So I think the offensive line is definitely something to watch with the Broncos. Because they're going to have to protect. They're going to have to protect. Peyton has definitely showed that he was a better athlete than Brady with that scramble, but I still don't want to see Peyton have to move around in the pocket or be under pressure. Because, Peyton gets down real quick. He calls Marvin Harrison and looks for techniques to get down. How do I get down most effectively rather than get tackled? How do I do that? So he's quick to do that.
Yeah, Jared Allen's got a broken foot, yo. Well, listen, man, I got the Broncos. B. Austin got the Broncos. Dev got the Broncos. I don't know whether to be happy or scared about that.
Probably be afraid. Be very afraid.
Yeah, Fred was never going to pick the Broncos regardless anyway.
I picked the Eagles to go somewhere. Be very afraid.
If there's anything, Vegas is always somewhat right. The Carolina Panthers are 5.5-point favorites. Vegas is always right most of the time.
Damn.
Yeah, Vegas is all. Somebody got to be wrong.
Wait,
Vegas
Fred,
is always right.
You said Vegas is always right most of the time? Huh?
Most of the time.
That's that Florida State education?
That's like I say, I'm always right sometimes. He said they always right most of the time. Listen,
you know.
With all that being said, though, Fred, you also said that the team with the best defense has won like however many. So something got to be
eight of the last 10.
Yeah, something's not going to give. With that being said, man,
somebody will believe.
I think the defense is even though Denver's ranked number 1, I think the defensive matchup is a push.
I do too.
I think it's whichever offense can get it going against that opposing defense.
All right, well, here's my last question to you guys. Give me a prediction, something that we don't expect to see that we'll see during the course of this game. So I'll start with you, B. Austin. What do you think is something that we may see this game that we didn't expect to see?
I expect to see them utilize your small back Hillman more than usual and get Thomas Davis and Luke Kuechly in space and try and test that.
Okay. Dev, you got any prediction, Dev?
I predict that we're going to see Cam get called the N-word 165 times on Twitter during the game.
During, before, or after?
All of the above.
I predict that this game is going to feature 5 turnovers.
Ooh.
Between the two teams, 5 turnovers. Sounds like that's going to make for a sloppy game, but not that the game is just going to be sloppy, but at inopportune times, the ball is going to be turned over.
Got you. Fred, give me a prediction, Fred.
Cam Newton starts slow, finishes fast. I think his nerves are going to get to him early.
All right. Well, here's my.
I think the nerves will get to him early, but just simply, it's his first Super Bowl.
He said he's gonna come back like FedEx and bust.
See. All right, here's my prediction, Fred. Here's my prediction for you. Right, the Broncos get down. Peyton gets knocked out of the game. Brock comes in the game. Scores 3 touchdowns to lead the Broncos to victory on course to his Hall of Fame career in which he won 7 championships.
Just real quick, man. Yo, Jimmy.
Okay.
Your Peyton hate is out of control. You don't deserve Peyton, man.
Your Peyton hate is worse than B. Austin's Cam Newton hate.
Nah, I don't hate Cam Newton. I like Cam, actually. I just don't think he's not as good as y'all. He's not as good as y'all think he is. I like him.
No one believes you.
No, yeah, I don't believe you.
No one believes you.
We got
so much QB I hate.
We go back to the text. Throw a flag on the play.
We got so much footage you spend. Anyway, with all that being said, man, Fred, that's my prediction. Brock comes in, wins the game, and route to his Hall of Fame career in the 7 championships, man. With all that being said,
I have another prediction.
Go ahead.
I will be giving you a meme of Peyton Manning with the Jordan crying face by the end of Sunday. Just saying.
I mean, I got a prediction that's pretty much
Jimmy. So Fred's prediction basically said, "I will be hating." That's what he just said. I will be hating.
More or less. Hey, Fred, what it look like that Jordan meme I sent you of Tom Brady sitting on the field crying like a biatch?
Oh.
Anyway, for those that have made it thus far, we definitely appreciate you. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. If you're listening in any sort of podcast, make sure you subscribe there as well. If you're listening on iTunes, rate us on iTunes. Give us a thumbs up. SoundCloud, leave a message.
At me.
Anywhere you listen to this or consume this content, make sure you show love. That is the bottom line. Everything that we do be found at warroomsports.com. Don't forget my books available at sportsthebook.com. Check out Fred at about.com sports. As we always say, don't accept mediocrity. Be steadfast in the war against ignorance, and we'll see you chumps on top.
Straight dab on them, Cam.
Let's go, Broncos, gang.
Kuwait is the war room with 5 nights at the round table. 5 Philly guys, diversified and educated.